This December, everything that's been simmering beneath the surface at Barcelona will boil back into view, and the date is already circled, December 12. On that day, Joan Laporta, the club's president, and two former managers, Luis Enrique and Ernesto Valverde, will be called into court to give testimony in the long-running Negreira investigation. They won't be defendants, at least not in Laporta's case. The charges against him were dismissed, but being summoned as witnesses puts them right at the centre of a legal and reputational storm that stretches back years. The case, which has already heard from high-profile figures like Sandro Rosell and Josep Maria Bartomeu, plus top club executives and even the family of the refereeing official at the heart of the controversy, isn't just about payments on a balance sheet. Investigators are trying to trace a line from disputed invoices and alleged analysis reports to the football pitches where matches were won, lost and decided. That question, did coaches ever receive, see or act on the referee reports allegedly compiled for Barcelona, is the one that now sits like a dark cloud over Nou Camp conversations and La Liga boardroom. Earlier testimonies laid down pieces of the puzzle. Former presidents and executives explained the mechanics of payments, and relatives of the referee source answered questions about contracts and correspondence. Those hearings established chronology and context, but they didn't answer the practical, potentially explosive point. Were tactical teams handed confidential referee assessments? And if so, were those assessments used to prepare lineups, exploit perceived referee tendencies, or shape match plans? That's why the appearances of Luis Enrique and Ernesto Valverde both coached Barcelona during the period under scrutiny, and investigators want to know what they knew, whether scouting reports crossed into officiating analysis, whether any information altered preparation, and whether that crosses the line from legitimate scouting to an unfair competitive edge. For Laporta, the summons carries different weight. The payments being probed occurred during his earlier tenure as president, which places him at a difficult institutional crossroads. He is not being charged now, but as someone who led the club when those transactions took place. He can help illuminate how decisions were authorized and who in the club signed off on what. None of this exists in a vacuum. Football isn't just entertainment for millions, it's governed by rules about fairness and transparency. If the court finds evidence that inside information about referees was knowingly used to gain advantage, the fallout may be legal, sporting and moral, from potential sanctions to a long-term trust deficit between Barca and fans, rivals and league authorities. It's also why logistics matter. The hearing scheduled for December 12 was moved from an earlier November date because of overlapping court calendars and lawyers' obligations. That postponement gives both sides additional time to prepare, and it stacks the stakes for a hearing that will now have more witness testimony to weigh. But beyond the procedural details are human stories. Past presidents answering for their administration, coaches who built teams and legacies forced to revisit decisions, and a club with a global brand watching its reputation be passed in court filings and witness statements. When the judge asks whether match preparations ever included those controversial referee reports, the world will be listening. For fans who felt injustice on the terraces or on social media, the hearing is about closure. For rivals, it's about accountability. For Barcelona, it's about institutional survival. Whatever the immediate legal outcome, the public impact is clear. Transparency questions that were once background noise are front-page stories, and they will shape how the club is perceived for years. Expect intense scrutiny in the run-up to December 12 as evidence is reviewed, prior testimony is revisited, and pundits try to map legal findings onto football consequence. We'll be watching the testimonies from Laporta, Enrique and Valverde closely, because even as witnesses, their words could change the narrative around one of the sport's most powerful institutions, reopen wounds for long-suffering rivals, and force fresh conversations about integrity in Spanish football.